All right, Janet, you're there? Okay, we're going live on Facebook, so you guys can rewatch this. That looks very weird, so hopefully that looks good. I don't know why that looks so odd, but I'm just gonna get off that and move this over here and then present this again. There we go. And Janet, are you there?
Might help if I hit unmute.
Yes,
there we go.
Okay, perfect. So awesome. So we'll start right at 11. We're just making sure everything is good. This is going to my business page as well. And if anybody, we'll give you the link later, but I also have a private Facebook group for agents that I share inside there later that you'll be able to find this somewhere. And let me just see. Good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, we'll start right at 11. And again, it's 11 to 12:30 roughly. We'll talk about CRMs and managing them. And we're going to talk to Janet for a bit. And then we're all good. So let me just see. Hold on.
My video is off right now, which is fine, I guess. And just at 11, I'll put it on.
Yeah, we'll chat at 11 and just talk to everybody, and then we'll do the video. Yeah, I had mine on a little bit earlier, but we're just waiting for more people to show up. Good morning, you guys. If you don't mind typing in the chat, saying good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are, and saying hello, that would be awesome. I'm going to turn on my video for a second just to say hello to everybody again. Good morning. And we've got Janet with us, which we'll be talking to her in a minute. And as we always find with these webinars that actually have quite a full house, but some people don't actually show up until 11, and then we'll see what happens. But thank you very much for being here early. You guys are keen, which I love. And again, let me just see, the best way really for webinars to work well, again, is to say something in the chat, to kind of participate as we do things, and not to be, looking at your Facebook page and reading your emails, because you might miss something super important. So I'm in Kelowna, British Columbia today, and it has been the weirdest, I don't know, couple days. I'm looking outside, today looks gorgeous, but yesterday it was something like 12 degrees. It hailed the other day. Today is going to be like 26 or 27. It's like, I can't quite figure out what's going on. How's it where you are, Janet?
It is gorgeous and sunny. It's like a total summer day. It's beautiful.
Are you in Vancouver?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver today.
Okay, where is everybody? Actually, I know who said that. Now, am I going to butcher your name? How do you say your name? BG? Let me know. He is in South Surrey. I'm not really sure where everybody's from here. I recognize some names. But yeah, let us know, what's the weather like in your hood? It's gorgeous. It's like beautiful blue sky in Kelowna today, which I'm very thankful for. Like I said, yesterday it was horrible. Good morning, Ray. There's another Ray here. That's awesome. And you'll notice when my video's on, I'm looking at two monitors. So when I'm reading the chat, it's over on that one. Okay. And we will start right at 11, so we can, get through all the stuff that we want to talk about. And again, we really appreciate you guys showing up early. That's awesome. And who do we have? We got Azim, Carol, Jason, Rupinder, Simon, Wolf so far. We're missing about 60, 70 more people. So I'm hoping they'll show up. And hey, if you can let me know how to say your name, BJE. I don't know how you say that name. If you can phonetically spell it out so I can say it properly. I hate it when I missay names. And my name is Darci with an I. People sometimes email me with the Y, or they say my name weird, or poor Terry, my husband, gets the I because my name is with an I. I think most guy names are with Y. I think I is the female version of things, right? Okay, so we're good here. Yep. BJ, okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, nice. I won't say that incorrectly now. So we've got more people, double the amount now. That's awesome because people roll in at 11. Now we normally do the webinars for an hour, but we thought we'd do something special today because we just did a webinar on, oh gosh, I can't remember, Thursday or Friday. And then Janet and I kind of planned to do this, and I wanted you guys to get to know her a little bit. And she always has some really great questions when we're talking about business. So she's just going to pipe in when we're talking about CRMs and your business system setup. What I've seen over the years about how agents just incorrectly set things up, and it's losing them a lot of money and a lot of time. And Janet's going to pipe in there when we talk about that. So I can't wait. So actually, if anybody wants to right now, if you can put in the chat what CRM you're using, if any, just curious. So we can kind of tailor it to what you guys are doing right now, right? So let's put in, if you can put in the chat, you might be using a spreadsheet, you might be using your memory, you might be using one of the bigger guys like Top Producer or Exact or RealBulb, or there's like hundreds and hundreds of CRMs, right? So just curious. Okay, cool. So somebody's using Top Producer, cool. They actually have a new version coming out. Did you know that? I went and looked it up, and we'll talk a little bit about how I evaluate CRMs. And I was a little disappointed in their answers to some of my questions that I asked, but we'll talk about that. Nobody else is using anything? We want to know as people are rolling in here. It's 11 o'clock. Good morning, you guys. Well, let's get started. So we want, again, participate, and I'll have Ray, my great assistant, is with us. And if I can't monitor the chat, he will if I miss a question. But if we do miss something, please feel free to go over. This is live on my Facebook business page, but also it will be in my private Facebook group, and you can join us there and ask questions later if you want. Okay, let's get started. So first off, it is CRM and business system setup that agents don't do that makes them lose time and money. And we're going to get rolling on this. So if you haven't used Zoom, which I find rare in these days because everybody's been using Zoom since COVID, but there's a chat on the bottom. You just tap on the chat and please say hello, ask some questions, talk to us, because as you've heard me say since the early birds were here earlier, I really, what I don't like about webinars is the inability to kind of see your faces and reactions. But so the only way that I can kind of help is if you respond through the chat. Okay, so please take advantage of this, ask questions, comment, just be here and participate in this webinar. Okay, let me just see, nothing for many years, realize it was a mistake not to. Yeah, but that's okay. We can recover from those mistakes, right? That's what we're going to talk about today as well. No problem. So first I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce Janet. You probably didn't know I was doing that, Janet, but you can pipe in as well. Awesome. If you don't know me, I know lots of you guys do know me because you come from my other webinars. I have been coaching agents since around 2010. I've been on TV for 3 seasons teaching tech tips, or I was on TV. I've written lots of articles and newspapers and magazines and been on radio shows all around technology. That's my thing, technology and systems. And I've spoken at countless real estate conferences around North America. So you might have seen me at a real estate conference. Unfortunately, I don't know when that's going to get back on top of things. So we'll see what happens in probably 2021. I won a prestigious award called Top 100 Women Changing the Shape of Real Estate by Real Estate Professional magazine, which is pretty awesome. And I have hundreds of success stories, which I absolutely love helping agents. So that being said, this is Janet. Now, Janet, I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit, and then maybe you can pipe in. And if you want to turn on your video, you can see Janet live as well. Janet Miller specializes in contact management, lead gen and nurturing, tracking and measuring, transaction management, financial project and time management. Well, let me go back. Janet, do you want to pipe in and say hello to everybody?
I'd love to, but the one thing I can't do is oh, yes, I can. I was going to say, I can't turn my video on, but yes, I can. I just had to push another button.
That's right.
So I am here in Vancouver today, but when I'm not in Vancouver, I am up in Whistler. I still do have my real estate license. I don't sell anymore. I have my license with Remax Crest here in Vancouver, but I spend a lot of my time coaching for Tom Ferry International. And I have coaching clients all the way from Alaska to New York City, Halifax to Whistler, up to Prince George. And I have people that have an average sale price of 189,000, and then I have people who have sale prices in the millions. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's all the same challenges. It's all the same challenges in terms of structure, systems, getting the sellers to listen, getting the buyers to listen. And it's great stories. My favorite story is when my coaching client in Alaska told me that she had to tell the buyer's agent to bring a gun to the home inspection because they spotted a grizzly on the property. So you know what? You get all different stories from all different geographies. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to these things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this is Janet, and we've been talking about doing this for a long time. I'm sure we'll do more. But again, take advantage of Janet being here. If you're thinking about getting a real estate coach, ask some questions in here. We're going to kind of free flowing this. Now I have a presentation I can do, but Janet's going to pipe in at any time that she has questions, because what we find sometimes is that you might be even on webinars that you're too shy to ask a question. And I love questions. So Janet might pipe in if something comes to her mind, because she knows what agents ask a lot of, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. All right, let's get rolling then. Okay, so, I took these questions from Janet. These are kind of common questions that Janet said that she gets from other agents. So I don't know what to do when I get up in the morning. Hey, I have reached a plateau. Can't get past a certain amount, right? Usually with the 150 mark. I don't have any systems in place. I'm unorganized. I don't know what to do with a CRM. I don't have one. So we're going to talk about that today. My friends and family don't need to buy or sell right now. And I don't know anyone who needs an agent. I'm broke. That's not good, right? I need someone to push me to do the right things. And I used to make this much. And now in the past few years, I have only made this many dollars, and I don't know how to get back up there. And question for you guys, actually. So has anyone actually had a real estate coach? Curious. Because while you're typing in the chat, type in the chat. I'm going to tell you a little bit is that I also am always trying to better help. How can I better help agents? And so I take kind of like, it's not really technology coaching, because I am really good at that, but it's how to funnel my system and get to you guys who need the help. And I spent about 8 weeks and a lot of hours trying to figure that out and going through this coaching system, which was unbelievable. And so just curious, you got to have a coach. Hi, Anna. Good morning, Anna. Nice to see you or not see you. I don't know. These webinars are weird. You just started with a coach. Azim, nice. And I think that you'll never get further if you don't have a coach. I really don't. I believe that you have to have a coach. And so Janet and I are coming from kind of different perspectives, because I showed you what Janet does, and I do the tech side of the business side. So we're going to talk about that today. So these are some of the questions that Janet gets, and these are some of the issues that I see agents have all the time. If this sounds like you, with the technology side and the system side. You secretly feel so disorganized that your stuff is scattered all over the place and you can't find anything, and stress level is up here. You know what you're trying to find that document and you're swearing because you put it somewhere and you can't find it on your phone because you don't have access to the stuff on your computer. Do you hear me? Right? That is so stressful. And you just want to be selling homes and talking to people and making connections. You get all this other stuff, and especially it changes all the time, right? Do you want to spend more time with your partner and your spouse and kids and friends and family, but you're working all the time? I am married to an agent, so and Janet, you too. He's very busy, I know that. Do you lack control of your funnel because you rely on your memory? So this is one of the things that I see all the time is that, if you only have a couple deals a year, which why are you in business then? But some people, that's what they want. That's probably easy to remember when to keep in touch with people, right? But if you are doing like 10 deals a month or more, and you're trying to remember to do all these things, there's absolutely no way that your memory can do that. No way, even if you're 20 and you got a great memory, right? Right, Janet?
Right. It's like that. Do you remember that episode of Modern Family when Phil runs into his clients and he goes, "Hey," like, he knows they're a client, but he just can't remember the details of who they are.
Yes. I don't know if this will help, but yes, it's true, right? It's like, because you meet so many people. It's like, yeah, you can't rely on your memory to keep in touch with people, for sure. Whoops, I missed that last one. Sorry. Do you keep on trying different software, hoping this will be the magic one where all your problems will disappear? Now, I have seen this over and over and over again, where someone will say, you'll try this CRM, and then someone else will say, no, that's crappy, try this one. And then, no, that's crappy, try this one. And so you spend probably half a year trying to find something that works for you, when really you shouldn't be listening to those other people, because everybody's different. But there's certain things you have to know about software in order for it to work properly and that magic to appear, which I'll talk about today. Okay. All right. Are you embarrassed that you aren't keeping in touch with your past clients? Now, this is one of the things this is really when I started years and years and years, I don't know, a decade ago, this was a surprising answer for every real estate person I talked to and helped. I said, well, how are you keeping in touch with your clients? And initially I was like shocked. And then I was surprised if someone said, oh no, I have a system in place, and because nobody has the systems in place. And there's many reasons for that. And we'll talk about that. Okay. Are you overwhelmed with working so hard trying to find new clients that you ignore your old ones and you're burning yourself out? And are you frustrated because you know that you're losing out on deals due to lack of systems, but you don't know where to start to fix them, right? And Ray, can you make a note? This is I have a ADD or so, I don't know, something. This slide bugs me. It's not aligned right. Can you make a note to fix that? Thank you. This is why you have an awesome assistant. Ray is amazing. Do you feel like there's a glass ceiling holding you back? And that's what I find as well, is that you just don't know how to get all the pieces together in order for your business to kind of expand, right? And so we'll talk about that as well. And what I've discovered is that the real problem for most agents is that your foundation is broken. And what a great analogy for a real estate agent, right? is that if this is broken, that's how you feel. Like nothing is working, all the stuff is crumbling because the foundation was never set up. And it isn't that you, how do you know? They don't teach you this in school, and they should. They should teach you how to create a business and a proper business system setup, but nobody does. And it would have been way easier when you got out of school and said, okay, the next thing you do is these things I'm going to talk about today, 4 steps that you need to do in order for that CRM to work. That makes sense? Because your foundation is crumbling. Yeah, Janet. Yeah, Janet's going, yeah. Let me just see if I'm missing anything. Richard Robbins group, but I found it took up too much of my time. Need a simple system. Oh, Laura Lee, how are you doing? So that begs kind of the question, I guess the answer is that I think you do have to dedicate time. And also for fixing your systems, you have to dedicate the time. It's not like if you've been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, sometimes 30, 35 years, there's a lot of stuff you have been doing that needs to be fixed, right? And same with the coaching. Coaching does take time, but the results are phenomenal. I find that agents who actually have a coach actually do way better than people who don't. It's just a fact. And Janet, you probably know the stats better than I do.
Oh yeah, no, that's according to NAR last year, only 3% of agents did 25 deals or more.
Right. And those are the top 3 that probably all had coaches of some sort.
Right. And then if you look at the average of people in coaching, it's way, way, way above that. Yeah. And it's not only about the number of deals that's different, it's a profitable business. Right. Because it's not just about making more deals, you're making a profitable business and you're creating a business that when you go on vacation, you can actually have a vacation. You don't have to be on your phone all the time because you've got the systems in place.
Yep.
So the deals and the dollars can happen with or without you. And you come back to your office and the wheel has kept on turning.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because who can take a vacation if you're, I know when, well, I don't know if anybody that's here today, I did a electronic signature webinar the other day. And part of that is like how it changed our lives, that we could go away now, because now it doesn't matter. Yes, still work, but it's a no big deal to quickly do a document on your phone and send it off for electronic document signing, right? Like that was life-changing when we started doing that, again, 10 years ago, whatever it was. It's amazing, right? Because the systems are in place, then you know how to do it. Okay. We have a question here. Recommendations is to have a team then? Oh, hi, Marlene. Or to be part of one. I have my own thoughts about that. You, Janet?
If you want, what's the African proverb? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So, but a team, there's a lot of different definitions of a team, right? So a team doesn't necessarily have to be 8 agents working together. Yep. A team can be a solo agent with a bunch of people beneath you to support you. It could be 2 agents working together. So yeah, don't be solo, have a team, but know there's a lot of different definitions of what a team is.
Yeah, I agree, because I think sometimes people think it's like Joe Blow group real estate, and then you have to be under that person. But I know, like for us with my husband, when he had to switch his license, anyhow, long-winded story, but what he does, he has a team, but what he has is that he has other agents that are there to help him if he's away, or someone will go do an open if he can't do it, or a showing if he can't do it, or do you know what I mean? So it has to be someone you obviously trust, and that sometimes takes time to find the right person that you want to partner with, right?
Absolutely.
But what I have seen, and Janet, maybe yours is you different, but what I have seen a lot of time, Marlene, is that a lot of times agents come to me, they've joined a team and they've made it, got a website that's all about the team. And then, 6 months later, they decided it didn't work out and they spent all this money and now they have to dissolve it. And so I think you have to really think about teams. So if anyone in a team that has suggestions in the webinar, would love to hear from you. And now that we have about half the attendees finally showing up, that's awesome. Again, we want to talk about, please chat with us. We want to talk to you. We want you to participate in this webinar. That's why we made this. Well, Janet's here to help you out. That's why we made this one an hour and a half. So please say hello and chat in the chat. Recommendations is to have a team or to be part of one. I agree, and great thing. Okay, that's just that. Perfect. Okay, let's continue on. So we're going to talk about, in my opinion, from the business system setup, there's 4 steps, okay? And we're going to talk about domains, email, cloud storage, and CRM. And though this webinar is about CRMs, I truly believe that if you don't have the other stuff set up properly, your CRM is generally not going to work. It's going to be a standalone database that you have to manage manually. And this is where, again, out of doing this for many years, this is what I see agents, and I'll say, so do you have a CRM? And they'll say, yes. And then I'll say, okay, so what are you doing inside the CRM? Nothing.
Every month?
Contacts? Yes. Separately from your actual contacts, right? So now that's a waste of time. And then so are you doing drip campaigns or email blasts? No, not doing anything. And sometimes these agents have been using that CRM and paying that CRM company $30, $40, $50, $100 a month for 10 years. Add that up. What a waste of money and time. Okay, because if this part is not set up properly, and please again ask questions. If your domain isn't, if you don't have a website, if you don't have proper email, if you don't have cloud storage is maybe the one where I still think it's extremely important. But if you have your email set up properly to talk to the CRM, then you're going to make a lot more money and you're going to save a ton of time. Okay, so we're going to kind of go through each of these 4 things. Does that make sense, you guys? Hi, Sheila. Hello, Shella. Who else? Sorry, I can't see. I can't see. I need better glasses. Okay, so let's just talk. We're just going to briefly talk about domains, all right? Because Actually, is there any new agents out here? Because this is really beneficial to new agents, or if anybody is thinking about rebranding. Okay. But otherwise, if you've got a website, it's all fine, but it's always good to understand maybe in the future, if you're going to switch anything or change anything, to understand domains. So, and I find that most people don't really understand the difference between a domain and a website. So if you do, great, but if you don't, hang tight, I'm going to explain it. So domains are, your name, .com, .net, .homes is a new extension. .homes is a new extension. Well, I say new, now it's been around for maybe 2 years. So you could buy a domain, blah, 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 whatever, .homes now. And we bought up a couple and we're just trying to figure out how to use them. So if you want that, Ray, maybe put the link of the .homes. It's a company called Dominion Domains. I think if you use my name, you might get a deal. I can't quite remember now because it was so long ago. But Ray, I'll put the link on the chat. So these guys, .homes is a new extension. But what I want you to understand is that should you use your own name as your domain? Now, I'm going to tell you a lot of the stuff that we do now and I help agents with is because we mucked up way back when and went, why did we do that? Because everybody told us to do that and we didn't know any better. Because there's nobody telling agents what to do to set their business up properly. Everybody set up their domain. They bought a domain with their name. And I totally disagree with doing that now, and you'll understand why. So this is a made up name, but that's my husband, terryosti.com. We actually have another website called Kelowna.homes is one we're using, Kelowna.homes or terryosti.com. Now, one of the things when agents do that, so if your name, everyone's going to butcher it. It's going to be very hard to, like my name, Darci LaRocque, I'd never ever use that because nobody can spell Darci and nobody can spell LaRocque. So then when you say, oh, just go to my website, is it easier to say go to Kelowna.homes or Terry Osti? No one knows how to spell Osti either, or Terry with an I. So I don't really think it's a great idea for many reasons, which I can't get into all of them today, but also you're running a business. If you want to retire, is it easier to retire and give somebody your website and your email addresses and everything associated with terryosti.com? Or Kelowna.homes, right? It just makes more sense. So let's talk a little bit about, other things to consider if you're going to buy a domain. So first off, you're buying a domain from a registrar like GoDaddy or Dominion Domains or Bluehost. So, and buy is a loose term because you're leasing it. Okay, I'm going to keep saying buy because that's what everyone says, but you're really leasing it for however long you pay for it. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Does that make sense, you guys? Any questions? Nope. Okay, good. So one thing to consider is, could you use the area code .condos or .homes or .houses or .whatever, right? Or your phone number. There's a pretty successful agent in Vancouver who has a phone number. Well, brilliant, because it's a really easy phone number. But also, when and if he ever retires, can he easily just have someone purchase his company from him and get the referrals from it, right? Houses in whatever, the Okanagan, Vancouver, Lower Mainland.com, something like that. Oops, sorry, go back. So if you were really honest with yourself, what's better, the left-hand side or the right-hand side, right? It's better to have the right-hand side. All right, and we're learning that now. And now Terry's website's still up, but we're just, because it's been around for so long now, we're going to eventually, probably in a year, switch this over to the other one. We'll see what happens. Okay, any questions on that? Right-hand side. Hi, Carson, nice to see you. I keep saying that, nice to see you. Nice to see your name. I can't see you. All right, so now let's talk about the next step. And this is where agents mess up big time, because what happens is everybody knows you got to get a website. So let's go back to that domain. So you get a domain, you now own the domain for however long you're buying it for. So let's just use, I have Agent Tech Mastery is one I have. Agent Tech Mastery, I bought it for 5 years, let's say, and then I have to host it somewhere. Now, here's the thing, another thing that I see agents kind of getting mucked up on is the hosting. I see sometimes they go and try and do it themselves with WordPress sites, and they hire a designer in some other coding language who says, yeah, I'll do it. And then that person goes away, right? Or or WordPress is too complicated for you, I always tell it, like, spend the damn money. I just swore, sorry. Spend the damn money. Go to a real estate hosting company. They know what they're doing. Unless you're going to spend a lot of money and go to a custom, like an actual business who only specializes, like they got a lot of clients that are, only they do is real estate custom websites. Does that make sense? Don't go hire your kid to go build a WordPress site for you, because I can guarantee you later on, you'll regret that. Make sense? Okay. All right. Let's keep going here. Now I'm going to talk about my favorite subject. And it's funny, I could talk about email for like hours, but I won't today. I will talk about it just a little bit. So Dolly Parton has this, you'd be saying, you'd be surprised how much it costs to look this cheap. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek because you guys who are using those free email accounts like Yahoo and Shaw and TELUS, is there any of my American friends out here? Say hello, because the Americans have different internet service provider email people. Anything that you're not, if you're not paying for your email, then you are doing yourself and your business a disservice. It is cheap for sure, and it's free, but it is costing you a lot of money, which I'm going to explain. Okay. All right. So an example would be, I always like to use something out of real estate so you can kind of wrap your heads around it. But let's say you have to hire a lawyer for whatever reason. And you see both of these, right? Lovely. All things being equal, they're exactly the same. You like them both. You don't know who to use. So think about this if you're in a listing presentation. So the seller has interviewed a bunch of agents and they, you know, your email is Joe the Best Realtor 1973 at yahoo.com and somebody else is Jenny at 416homes.com. Who would you hire if you just were on the edge, right? That Joe might be awesome, but that is so bad. That is like, you would never, I don't think you'd even ever see a lawyer do that because they know how to set up their business properly. And I don't know why, but agents don't.
It's amazing how often you see that. They have a beautiful website, an unbelievable domain name, and then the email address is at Gmail or at Yahoo or at Hotmail.
Yep. Yep. And I can't tell you, like, I'm going to talk about what there's a professional side of it that you don't look professional, but the other side is that none of your stuff is talking, working, syncing properly because of that. Okay. But the professional side alone should make you think about it. All right. So, and I don't know why people don't think about it. I'm going to cover, Azim, thank you. Great question about Gmail as well. Okay. So this is from a study that they did to the public about should your name match your domain? And they said, if it doesn't, it's extremely unprofessional. It's inconsistent with your branding. You're deemed less confident and trustworthy. You don't look legitimate. If you go back to that lawyer, it's true, right? Suddenly we're just thinking, oh, is that a real lawyer? Right? You don't think that happens with real estate? And you guys need all the help you can get with so many agents out there and so many kind of, you know, there's bad press with agents. And so 75% of consumers say an email address matching your domain is critical to trust and professionalism. So, I mean, and we know that, like, I wouldn't hire a doctor or go to a doctor that has a Yahoo account, right? Like, or a lawyer, because I'm like, that just doesn't seem right. So do you know whether you're losing business? No, but I can guarantee you probably are. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's keep going. All right. We're going to talk about, oh yeah, the other thing I see people do. Okay. So if you're one of these agents who kind of has a proper business email that looks like this, but you're not paying for it, that means it's not proper. It means you're forwarding it to your Yahoo account or your Outlook account or your iCloud account or your @me account. Okay. That's not good because I emailed Jenny at Smith Law that goes to her Yahoo account, let's say. And then when she emails me back, but that's not in my address book. It might end up in spam. I'll be confused about who am I communicating with. Bad, 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 bad. All right. And those Shaw and TELUS, out of all of the ones, Shaw and TELUS, my friend, if you're using a internet service provider email, you are doing yourself harm. And I'm going to explain what POP and IMAP, I'm going to give you a little email education because I find over the course of years of doing this is that people don't understand it. So I really want you to understand it. So we've got Gmail, iCloud, Yahoo, any free email service, okay, and paid. any free or paid email service, every single email address has these 4 components. And so you have to understand this, okay? It has obviously the email part. It has a folder, possible folder structure where you throw your emails in, right? Makes sense. Has your gold, your contact database, and then it has calendar. So if you've got 5 emails, and I know lots of people do, for different reasons, that's okay. I mean, it's not okay, I can fix it, but lots of people do. So that means those four things are on every single email address. So when you add a calendar item to your phone and then you can't find it somewhere else, it's because you're looking at something else and you're all confused because this is not the way to run your business. Does that make sense? Let me see if there's questions. It makes sense, but we have the email name under Gmail for many years in marketing materials signs. It seems not possible to change. That is a fantastic question. Okay, you know what? So let me tell you that. So let me read this again. Makes sense, but we have the email name under my Gmail for many years and marketing, everything, your signs and everything. When I work with agents, and I'll give you an opportunity in a bit if you want to sign up and I can look at your systems and we'll talk for 30 minutes and see if I can help you. There is a way that doesn't matter. Next go round, when you do your marketing materials, you would put your actual proper business email, but it doesn't matter because we look at it and every single email address will fix and redirect and make it all work. So you never have to worry about that. That is a fantastic, fantastic question. Darci, I need your help because my email organization, I have 3 businesses with proper domains. Realtor in Vancouver, realtor in Calgary, and mortgage broker. Oh, I'd have to, Marlene, maybe set up a time to chat because I'd have to look at the 3 difference. And I've seen everything under the sun in the years that I've been doing this. Some agents who are mortgage brokers and how do you do it separately? You know, how do you manage your business? And we can talk about that. So yeah, great question. Okay, let's keep going. So everyone understands this, right? So everything, I'm going to tell you that there's a way to fix it. So don't worry about that because the goal is in the end is you only have one properly configured business email that has one set of folder structure, one set of your gold, your contacts, one or multiple calendars. That part doesn't matter, but they're attached to the business email. And that business email is the thing that can be integrated with most good CRMs. Okay, makes sense? All right, let's continue on. I want to also say from moving forward as I'm talking about the headquarters. So all those email addresses up there are kind of the headquarters. Okay, they sit on a server somewhere, whether it's Gmail or Yahoo or Shaw or TELUS, that's the headquarter email. Okay. All right. Now, another thing I want you to understand, because I know lots of people don't get this. We can view the headquarters from many different viewers. On our computer, on our PC, on our Mac, on our Androids, on our iPhones, on our iPads. Does that make sense? So the headquarters sits up there, but you can use many different viewers, devices, and software to view the headquarters. You got that? Because people get confused about this. So on phones, you can use the native thing that comes with the phone. So with Androids, it's Gmail. With Apple, it's the first one here, it's Apple Mail, right? Or you can also download apps on your devices to view the headquarters. So here's the thing that I see lots of people do is that they configure the first one and then they download the second one and then they download the third one. So now they've got data coming in. That same email I send you goes into all 3. Now, is that a problem now? We have better plans now. So it's not as if, 5 years ago, I would have said, oh my gosh, don't do that because you're eating up all your data because the same thing's going into 3 different things on that same device. That makes sense? So when I'm working with agents, I look at it. I don't care if you use Outlook to view whatever. I don't care if you use Gmail and I don't care if you use Apple email. You just have to pick one, whatever you're comfortable with. But there are some reasons to use one over the other depending on your current setup. Okay. So you could also view your headquarters on a browser, right? You could be using Chrome or Firefox, Internet Explorer, Edge, whatever, some browser to go view your stuff. That makes sense? You could also, this is the part I don't like, okay? You also can download Outlook or Mac Mail and be using that as your email viewer. Now, those are third-party tools, which we have any Outlook users out there, you've probably in the course of your life had some problems, right? Your PST file gets too big, same with Mac. The files get too big, stuff doesn't work, things aren't doing things that you want them to do. And then we've got that third party. So is it Outlook that's the problem? Is it the computer that's the problem? Is it the headquarters that's the problem? What's the problem? Usually it's Outlook, just by the way. Have I got you? Let me just see. Pardon my ignorance. How do you set up a professional looking email? Oh, Azim, no, I love these questions. Please, you guys, no question is stupid. I have been doing this. I hate saying this part now. I've been doing this for almost 3 decades on how email works with devices when devices came out, computers and then wireless devices and how it all flows. You don't know. So please ask questions. I honestly, like, no question is stupid. I've been doing this for so long. So that's a fabulous question. So
and I'll add that it took me about hearing it about 5 times from you. And then it was like, oh, I get it. Like now I get it. So
I think sometimes, like with my webinars, it is true that because I do talk about the same things. I try and talk about it in just maybe slightly different. So maybe someone will get it this time, right? Because it's always the same thing. So how do you set up a properly configured business email? Well, I'm going to talk about it later because it is important, because what I don't want you to do, and I actually think I have a slide on that, is just to go set one up yourself. Because what I find agents do is that they go and say, well, I heard you say that. I'm going to go find it and set it up. And then they come to me later saying, well, it's not working with my CRM. And I said, well, yeah, you didn't set it up right. You're on the wrong business email server. So it is very, very important to have it properly configured on the right server that will work with, in your industry, your CRMs that are out there in for real estate. Okay. Okay, so now you understand this part. So you understand that these are just viewers of whatever's up here, whether it's Yahoo or Gmail. No, I don't like any of those, but I'm just saying, right? Shaw, TELUS, whatever. But now the problem is, why does it matter about your email configuration? So why does it matter if you're a Shaw or TELUS user? So if there's any TELUS people, I'll tell you. So what did you do when the TELUS server went down for 2 weeks and you weren't getting any email? How was your business running? Right? Because that happened, I think it was last year, and everyone's freaking out. You should have switched then. But here's the thing. Also, you want to move. Okay. And maybe TELUS isn't in your new neighborhood and you have to get Shaw. What happens to the email that everybody has? Now we can fix that and get it redirected and how things work to a proper business email. But here's another thing that happens and why it's important, because I'm going to explain some really high level how these different emails work. So you probably heard of POP or POP3, IMAP. Those are the old ways of doing things. That's what your Shaw is on, TELUS is on, Yahoo. Some of the older like free email accounts are almost always on these old servers. Okay, and this is why you have problems. So think about this. Let's just use Shaw for an example. You can put in any old POP email that you have, but let's just say I have an email address, Darci at, shaw.ca. I can't remember, shaw.ca. So I have it on my phone, I have it on Outlook, I have it on webmail. So now I want to go look at my stuff. It's a one-way download on my phone. It's a one-way download on my computer. It's a one-way looking at on the web. That's on my Android. So that means that, do my folders sync? No, I'm on my phone. I move a folder here. It doesn't move anywhere else. If I add a contact on my phone that's attached to my Shaw account, does it talk to everything else? No. So now you got multiple sets of contacts for that same, remember those 4 things attached to Shaw? On my phone, it's different. Then Outlook, it's different. Then Mac mail is different, then webmail is different, because nothing talks to each other. Do you hear me? Now my heart palpitates while I do this. Because like, if you have that, that's what's happening to you. Your calendars don't sync as well. It never integrates. It will never integrate with a CRM, and it doesn't come with any kind of cloud storage space. Does that make sense? Do you hear the problems that you're having with that? Yes? Anybody out there having those problems? Let me see. Does that make sense? You're like, I know I updated my phone contact, but why don't I see it on my webmail or my other device? Does that make sense? You guys are awfully quiet. Are you freaking out? Yeah, you're having those problems. That's why I know most of you are, because I've created a whole business helping agents fix this silly problem because it's so frustrating. So POP was way back long time ago. Then IMAP came along, and it was when it came out in my IT days and tech days, I was like, yes, this is so exciting. Okay, it was a little exciting because it was way better than POP at the time. But here's what happens then. Now, email syncs. So all those different spots, if it's IMAP, so if I delete off here, it deletes off everywhere. Yay! And if I move it to a folder, it should show everywhere. But now we have the same problem with all the other stuff. Nothing talks. If I update a contact, it doesn't update everywhere. I have to remember to update it in all the other spots I use. Frustrating, right? Does that make sense? Yes, let's sort it out. Exactly. Okay. So the new way, and I always chuckle a little bit about the new way because the new way has been around for a good 10 years now, but it's new to you. All right. So if you have your email, business email, paid business email on a proper configured business email server, this is what will happen. Okay. This is not going to be a surprise for you, right? This is what's going to happen, right? So you update a contact, everything updates. You add a calendar, everything updates. You move a folder, an email to a folder, it updates everywhere. It has cloud storage. And here's the key. It integrates with a good CRM. Not all CRMs are good, my friends, from the technological standpoint. So what I mean by that is if I go and I log on to a CRM and I update, I'm working in there and I update a contact, my phone should be updated as well. And that is where most people, I've never seen an agent without my help ever have that set up properly, because we have to fix all those other emails first, then get you onto the one email that is now configured properly to work with your CRM. Does that make sense? So you're not trying to remember, oh, when I get home, I'm going to update my phone or my CRM or my spreadsheet or wherever you keep your stuff. It just automatically always keeps up to date. Make sense? Yes, totally makes sense. Yay. Oh, sorry, I'm reading your comment, Elena. So the question is, what do I think of Booge? Booge is a Remax CRM. And I'm going to tell you that when I look at CRMs, I will only look at CRMs that integrate properly. Currently, Booge does not. So until it does, I'm not going to revisit it, because I never, ever, ever will recommend to an agent to manage a separate system when you don't have to. Does that make sense? So I want to really love Booge, but I don't think it's going to be ready until at least 2021. And lots of other CRMs do not integrate either. And we'll talk about that. Okay, great question. What CRMs do I recommend? I'll be answering that kind of later. All right. Okay. So again, that cheap and free is expensive. You read an email and it shows unread elsewhere. We talked about that. That's because you're on those free emails. You move an email to a folder, it doesn't move elsewhere. You can't find it. Or how much time do you waste? You're on your phone, you move it, then you go back to whatever, Outlook, Mac Mail, webmail, wherever else you're viewing it. And you're like, oh, did I respond to that? Oh, I don't know. Right. Because you can't remember, because we have so much stuff going on, because you're on POP or IMAP email. Makes sense? I hope that makes sense. And you get a better understanding of incorrectly set up systems. You update a contact on your phone, it doesn't update elsewhere. We talked about that. You update your CRM contact and it doesn't update your phone, and you have to input information multiple times on all the different things that you're using, right? There's room for error there when that happens. You're an Apple, okay, my Apple friends. Here is what I know for sure. Is that Oprah? As soon as that said that, I'm like, is that an Oprah saying? Here's what I know for sure. Apple, I always preface this with is that I do not, I'm not saying Apple is bad. I'm saying you have configured it wrong. Make sense? So what Apple users, and I'm going to say 95% of the times when I'm helping agents, I look at everything. I look at every device you touch, every email address that you own, and we go through it methodically. And Apple, when you're setting up your Apple device, you're just going, or the vendor did, they don't care. They don't know how you run your business. Yes, 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 yes. And then what happens is You update a contact here and it only updates your iCloud contacts. It's not talking to anything else. So when I'm helping agents, I don't want you, Apple is so proprietary and it's fine for most things, but it's not fine to run your business. So what we want is a kind of agnostic email. So it doesn't matter what the latest and greatest device is. Who cares? As long as it's configured properly. Apple messes people up and I can fix that, but it's just so you know, Apple users, more than likely you're mucked up. Okay.
Well, Darci, you and I spent several hours together, and that's one thing that you got me to use actually I have a .coach domain, and we moved everything from a Gmail to that. So everything you've said so far, you have done for me, and it's been a game changer, especially this one right here, because what happened is, remember there was actually a glitch in the software with Apple, and I ended up like losing a whole bunch of contacts, but now I don't have to worry because you've moved it over to my Google contacts. So I can say that yes.
So Janet kind of mentioned Google, but that's not, it has to be properly configured and set up on the proper business server on the proper plan. All right. Don't just go set up something, because again, all I get from agents after said, hey, I did what you said and it's still not working. Well, yeah, because you have to actually go through, before you even do that, we have to look at all the different ways that you've been mucked up for years. Even if you're new to real estate, you have got contacts from all your other things that you've done, right? And other email addresses you've had. And all that has to be fixed and get it all into the one. All right, perfect. Okay, Apple, again, I'm not saying Apple's bad. I'm saying it's configured incorrectly. And again, you're managing multiple databases of contacts and leads, and nothing is updated real time. That's because your systems aren't set up properly to do so, and they can be, okay? You have to access different emails. I see this, I had a couple agents have 2 different phones because they thought that they had to read one email on one phone and another email on the other phone. It is not a requirement. That is absolutely, now I can only think of a couple reasons you'd ever need to do that. So you've been paying for 2 plans. Totally not necessary. Or I've also seen agents say, download another email viewer to view another type of email. And maybe you don't have to do that. All right. Okay. Use forwarding. Now, I don't like using forwarding emails. They can lead up to delays of up to 30 minutes, and time is money. In another industry, who cares? In your industry, you got to be fast and you got to respond fast. So delays of up to 30 minutes. And this is another thing I've seen. Let's say your brokerage gives you an email address that's a forwarder. So you forward it to your Yahoo account that forwards it to your Gmail account. Ridiculous. You need to stop that. Forwarding, that's maybe up to an hour delay, maybe, but Google it. Forwarding is not good. And there's many reasons I would never, ever, ever use a forwarding email address, ever. And so then talking about that, you use your brokerage email. Is it only a forwarder? I wouldn't use it. And also, if they actually say, hey, no problem, we will give you a real email address. And I don't know, well, I do know why, but a lot of brokerages don't even understand what I'm talking about. So they hire an IT company who sets up the wrong type of business email. So there's that, because it'll never work with a CRM. And because IT companies don't know your business. And here's the one good thing. Well, there's lots of good things about me, but one good thing is that I am IT. And because I only work with agents now, I understand how things should sync. I'm not outside where most IT companies don't really get it. They've never tested CRMs and how they work in your industry. Okay. And then the flip side is, if the brokerage says, yes, here, use us and we'll give it to you for free, no problem. So they're paying whatever the amount is a month for on your behalf or included in your fees. Who owns the data? Okay, I don't really care whatever we ever talk about when I'm working with an agent. We have this 30-minute discussion. I'm like, you own your own data. You have your own email. You do not give it to your brokerage, because you know what? Things might be great now and you're like, I'm never leaving. Life happens. And I can't tell you how many times agents come to me after the fact and we need to fix it then. Sometimes we can, but sometimes if you're going to leave my brokerage and you're saying, I'm going to go to another brokerage, you don't think I'm going to say, oh yeah, no, I turn off the switch and goodbye. You know what I mean? Maybe. It depends. Some brokerages say, no problem. But you know what I mean? I always want you to own your own email, own your contacts, own your calendar appointments, own your cloud storage is yours, not anybody else's, because we don't know what happens in the future. Okay. Okay, let's continue on. Another thing I see with agents is that they use that darn info at or sales at email addresses. Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much about this, but you need to go Google role, R-O-L-E, based emails. They're very bad. Role-based emails, info at, sales at, there's like 10 of them. What happens is if you email somebody, your client, let's say, info at, the email servers say, oh, you know what, we think that's spam because that's known spam email, info at, sales at, and a bunch of others. So you don't want that, right? So, and there's ways that I can fix it. If you've got info at out there everywhere, that's okay. We'll make it that you still get the email, but from then on, you don't use it. Okay, makes sense? Okay. Other questions? Let's see. Which CRM do you recommend? Oh, you guys want to know the answer to that. I'm not telling you yet. You have to hang tight. Okay. Another thing that I see agents do is that GoDaddy or whoever your registrar is, wherever you purchased your your domain, they say, hey, we'll set up your email. No, we don't want that either. We want you to be set up properly, that you own it. You don't have to go through GoDaddy to log on to get to your stuff. I'm really, do you get that? I'm like, you own your own stuff. You want to control it. It is yours. You log on, not through some other source like GoDaddy to somewhere else. Okay. And this is kind of like, I've seen this before where this actually happened. An agent said they sent you an email, but you can't find it. So this was bad. This is actually an info at kind of scenario. The listing agent sent an email to my client and said, hey, we got an offer, are you in? And the listing agent's email was info at. Now they've been texting each other, and yet, you know, it's not my, should the guy have texted or phoned my client and said, hey, we got an offer? They didn't, whatever. Info at went into spam and she didn't check spam. Somebody else got the deal because they didn't put an offer in, and they would have paid way more. And so everybody would have made money, and that was all lost because of an email. Like, I can't tell you, there's so many stories I have about deals being lost because of email addresses. Okay. Shaw not working when you're, oh my gosh, Shaw and TELUS. You go on holidays, you're going to work, right? Because agents work while they're away, right, Janet? Not unless we get them properly set up. We can diminish some of the work, and then you can't send emails, and then you got to figure out all that SMTP and IMAP configurations, and you're like, I don't know what to do. I know some of you know that. All right. Okay. And again, don't use anything tied to any email or internet service provider. Shaw, TELUS, My American Friends, ATT, Cox.net, any of those internet service providers. That is not their specialty. They should, in my opinion, they should never have offered it to people. Never. They should do what they're good at, and it should be TV and internet, not email. All right. You can see that they don't even really say much about that anymore. Don't use them. You've tried to piecemeal your software together to get it to work, and it doesn't work. We know that, and this causes you lots of stress and lots of lost time, and actually lots lost income. And what I see all the time too is that other experts don't talk about the tech side because they don't understand it. Or other agents will say, oh, do this. They don't know. I see on forums all the time, an agent will say, oh, go do this. I'm like, no, that is not the right answer. That is not true. They'll say they'll guarantee to make you money by doing pop buys, lead gens, mail outs, Facebook ads. But I do think sometimes that's important. You know, sometimes that is important, but proper business setup system is more important than this until you get it all sorted out. All right. All right. What if your systems just simply worked for you? So there's no more of a, oh, I don't know what to do, you know, whether it's Top Producer, whoever you're using or not using. All right. Okay. Another thing, let's just quickly look at email addresses. So we've got email addresses to the left, and we have email addresses to the right. And we know which ones look more professional, the ones on the right. But the question was, well, what about Gmail? So at Gmail emails. So I say they still look unprofessional because it's still a free, now it's one step better than a free Shaw or Yahoo or TELUS or AT&T or other free one. It's one step better. So I would say, as I say here, it's the best of the worst. But what looks better? Joe at Joe Sells, Amy at Just Sold, Terry at Kelowna Homes, John at whatever, phone number.com. You know it looks better, right? We know that that looks better. It looks more professional and everything on the right-hand side. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. And so I'm going to preface this with, because I used to tell people go do stuff and then they would do it and they wouldn't do it right. So I'm going to tell you, please don't just, now that you've said, oh, Darci said that you're going to go research it and you're going to go set it up on the wrong type of business email server on the wrong plans, and you're not going to know how to set it up and integrate it with the CRM. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to me later. So just hold tight. Let's talk about this. Okay. So does that make sense? Any email questions? So we talked about domains, right? So you got the domain, you got your website hosted somewhere. Now you've got the properly configured business email and a properly configured business email server. Now that email is going to be attached to your cloud storage account. We good for questions? Okay, no one's asking questions. So is it because it's so thrilling that you're like, oh, I get it all? Yeah? Okay, so let's talk about cloud storage. And I'm talking about cloud storage now about, so there's two types of cloud storage. One is what we just talked about, the headquarters, email folders, contacts, and calendar. And then there's the other stuff for your files and folders and documents and music and photos and personal and business and everything that's on your computer. If you cannot access every single thing that sits on your computer on your phone, you're incorrectly set up. Okay? And I see it over and over again that agents can't, because so they have to drive back, go back and get that file because they don't know how to get access to it on their phone, right? And they, or worse, well, not maybe worse, but you guys share Strata or HOA docs and you send 2 years worth of minutes by email as attachments. But my server doesn't allow that, so it bounces back, right? Because you don't understand how cloud storage works, all right? So here's the big guys in cloud storage. So iCloud, Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Drive. Now there are others, but these are the big ones that most people use. Azim, lots of email questions. Yeah, right. So book a call. We'll give you the link to the call a little bit later, and then we'll see how we can help you, okay? So here's the thing, again, working with agents, you think you have to use the same cloud storage app that other agents use. So if I, as an agent, send you Strata or HOA docs, and I send you a link and I use Dropbox, you think you have to use Dropbox. You don't. It's that you don't understand it properly. And I help agents understand this and even have the other agents you work with understand it. Because it is confusing, even though it's not new. It is, if you don't use it enough and you don't understand it, it's a game changer, right? It's a complete game changer. Your personal Yahoo email, Joe the Best Realtor, 19 whatever it was, 73 at yahoo.ca is attached to that cloud storage app. So when you're sharing it with people, that's the email. No, it should be linked to your properly configured business email, right? You can't pull up that important file on your phone. You drive back to your home or office to get that file. You fax documents. No. You attach individual documents to emails. I already talked about that because I know you don't know this, but you've seen it happen where you attach a bunch of files, you send it, and then it bounces back because my email server won't allow that large files to go through, or yours won't. That makes sense? So we don't even need to do that anymore. We put links in emails to share properly, but most people don't understand sharing. Or this is another thing we see. You have a little bit of iCloud, a little bit of Dropbox, a little bit of OneDrive, a little bit of Google Drive, and you can't find anything because you don't know where anything is. So you're not really using cloud storage because you put some stuff in each of the different types of services. So I help agents to kind of get streamlined and understand, like, one is good, and I'm not too sticky on what one, it depends. We have to have that conversation, but at least use it. In the end, it's usually Dropbox or Google Drive, but we talk about that and what are the differences, okay? And here's the thing that can happen if you you're not using cloud storage properly. And I've seen this, I've seen people in tears, and you probably have as well, is that if your computer dies right now, are you like, that's all right, I'll just download my software and everything will come back? Are you in tears? Right? I've seen it. And it's saddening to me because I've had a client where it's so sad, her father passed away and she had her photos on her computer, but it wasn't backed up anywhere. And her computer, I can't remember, died some reason, whether it was water, wine, coffee, who knows. But all those photos are gone. So this isn't just about business. It's also about personal stuff, right? Because just because we're talking cloud storage, it's personal and business. You know, your files for everything should be under a cloud storage account being backed up, so you don't have to worry about that because it's insurance. Like it's not important until it's important. And then we don't want you to be like that guy crying there. Okay. Let me just see another question. Email. Once you change your emails, do you have to do all your contacts get notified of your new address? If you work with me, yes. Yes, they do. Okay. Okay, that coffee spilling. Okay. Here's another thing that we work with agents because this is really bad for computers. I just took this off the internet. This isn't someone I actually know, but it looks like a lot of people I know before I work with them. This causes your computer, every time that you log on, it has all this data that it has to pull up. This is really, really bad. And also, how do you find anything? Right? We talk about proper file structure, proper ways to get your brain working so that the things are filed and stored in the right location so you don't have to worry about this. Okay, because if your computer dies, if this person's computer dies, this stuff's gone. Everything on the desktop's gone, more than likely. All right? Okay. Okay. So now we're going to talk about CRMs. Are you ready? That's pretty good. We're going to only talk a little bit about CRMs and Janet's going to pipe in, I'm sure. Other question, Christine, which paid email provider do you recommend? I recommend you set up a call with me so we can discuss it, okay? Because there's many variables and I see people set up wrong and we'll make suggestions based on that, okay? But here's the thing, we'll talk a little bit about CRMs. Client relationship management software is unbelievable. And what it does is it helps you speed up your routine processes. It helps you stay in touch with your clients and prospective clients. Keep in touch, get more referrals and repeat business, nurture and convert leads into clients. Now, if you are paying for a CRM and not using it, this is what you're doing. Every month, just throwing your money away. Ray, can you put in the link just in case this email has to go? We'll follow up with you guys. I think it's tomorrow that Zoom sends up a follow-up with all the links if you want to book a time. But this is what happens. And this drives me bonkers because you're wasting time. I've seen agents spend like $8,000 over the course of years on software every month. And they never actually use. They never even configured it. They're not even managing their contacts. They're doing nothing. They just keep paying because one day is never going to come. I help agents start using a CRM, all right? And because you're just throwing your money away. Now, I want you to think about this. I've got to pull up my notes so I don't forget about this one part here. Let me just see here. Okay. Yep. Oh my goodness, what did I just do? Hold on. Okay. So we want you to think about an agent who's been around for, let's say 5 years or so. I think this is a 5-year one that I did. So you've got 5 deals a year lost. And because you're not keeping in touch with your clients. So just think about this. I want you to honestly, like really, really think about this. And I want you to write down your number. So this guy does about 20, 30 deals a year. And I said, you know, so because you don't keep in touch with your clients and you've been around for 10 years, how many deals do you think you probably lose a year because you're not keeping in touch with that gold, your past clients who loved you, but they don't remember you, right? They don't remember who you are. Oh, that blonde guy, this guy, he was so nice. What was his name? I don't know, but Joe's been keeping in touch with me, who I met at a party. My friend's brother, right? Who hasn't that happened to? So let's just think about this. 5 deals a year we're losing on average. All right. And some might be more, some might be less. And let's just say average commission is 5. I know tons are way more, tons are a little bit less. That's $25,000 a year. That's 10 years in business. That's $250,000 this guy has lost. Is it worth the time to set your systems up properly, configure the CRM properly in order to keep in touch with clients? I'm so passionate about this. Do you hear me? Say yes. Just say yes. Yes or no, you don't get it. Tell me something in the chat. Because Janet, have you? See, Janet's like, yeah, yes, okay. This makes me so sad. It really does. I created this whole business say, okay, you know what? Let's make this easy for you guys to set this up. I have a system. I run agents through a 7-week program to finally, in the end, everything is run properly. Your CRM set up, everything is talking to each other. And I've had people cry, good tears when it's all done. Okay. So I want you to be open to fixing your current way of doing things before more serious things happen, like losing even more deals, right? Yeah, Janet, you're going to say something?
I was just going to add in, I want people to remember too, a CRM is not necessarily just giving you a list of people that you're picking up the phone and saying, hi, thinking of buying, are you thinking of selling? A CRM is your little tap on the shoulder to remind you that, oh, it's Darci's anniversary or birthday, or it's 2 years ago since she bought that house, or, oh my gosh, Darci loves dogs and I noticed something that reminded me about dogs.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Yes. Like if CRMs can really, they're like having a virtual assistant. It really is. It's managing your time efficiently, but it's also keeping in touch with those clients so you're not losing out on that 250. I had one client who did it and he literally said it's at least $500,000 he's left on the table. Like, right? Okay. So here's what I'm going to say about CRMs, because not all are created equal. When you first start, every CRM company say, no, just import your spreadsheet. We'll do it for you. If that's their answer, I say, don't use them. Because what I have noticed, and I can't tell you how many CRMs I've used over the years or tested over the years, because I'm only looking at 3 things. You ready? Here's the 3 things I'm looking at. Does it integrate with your contacts? 2-way. Remember that 2-way sync? If they say, well, no, but we can export your database and import it for you, and now now we're separating them. Why? Because they don't have the wherewithal to either in their back-end system make it work, or it does work, but they don't want to tell you that because it's the whole 4 steps have to be done. That you have to own a domain, you have to have a properly configured email, you have to hopefully the cloud storage, and then we can integrate it. That makes sense? So there's, if everybody says what CRM do you use, there's probably going to be 100 different answers if there are 100 people here, because everybody might have tried different things. So they are not all created equal. Number 1, it must, I don't even talk to them, I don't even go further. It must 2-way integration with contacts. Flip of a switch, 2-way integration with contacts. If it does not do that, I don't talk to them. Say, contact me later when it actually does. Number 2, the answer to that is yes, I get excited. How's the support? This is where, and I'll tell you, because I literally just did this. I went, because I was working with a past client of mine was having some issues with their CRM not integrating. I didn't know this CRM. I'm not going to actually tell you who it is, but I'm just going to tell you my experience. Very popular one out there. And I thought, oh, maybe they've changed. Whatever. Anyhow, it cost her a lot of money for me to fix her systems and get it integrated on this other CRM. And then their support, oh my gosh, I wanted to shoot myself. I thought, okay, maybe one off, you know what? I kind of like the interface, but I'm going to try it myself. Okay, again, horrible. Every time I had to do something, they say, oh, well, pay for this or pay for that. Oh, you want a drip campaign? That drip campaign looks really good. Pay for that extra. And I'm like, no, like that. And their support was horrible. So I want you to know that I have a whole list of CRMs that I know work and don't, and whether the support is good or not. And so I can't tell you all of them, but what I want you to know is that we want it to integrate. I want your life to be seamless. One update, updates everywhere. Okay, let's keep going. Integration is key. So using a CRM isn't the only thing. It literally is everything. When people keep putting it off, is it work? Yes. $500,000 of work, $250,000. Even if it was $20,000 you're going to make and you spend a week. Yes, it's worth it. It is worth it. Okay. All right. I know the question. The best CRM for real estate agents is, I'm not going to tell you. It's the one you're going to use. But I honestly, what I have done is I've set up this program that I will set up and get it all working for you by that step-by-step process. Okay. Because what I don't want you to do is ask other agents, because the other agent says, yeah, no, I'm just going to say top producer is the best thing ever. And then if I went and looked at their top producer, I'm like, Okay, it's not integrated, it's not working, they're not using campaigns. So what are they using it for? They don't know. I'm coming from a different perspective and how to make it easy for you, because I've seen everything since I've been helping agents, and most of the time it's incorrectly done. Okay. So let's just review this. Proper domain, right? You get a domain, proper business email, and then all those things talk to the proper business email. Calendar, contacts, email, all your devices. Then cloud storage, whatever cloud storage talks to that proper business email. Then all your CRMs, there's just a 3, I could put 100 in here. Those CRMs should talk to the proper business email and talk to the contacts and calendar, okay? Applications like DocuSign and PDF Expert and the thousands and thousands out there will be talking to proper business email. When you sign a contract, it should be sent from DocuSign or Authentisign or Dotloop or whatever you use from your properly configured business email. That makes sense? Everything should be linked to it, because right now you might have different email addresses linked to all these different things. Very confusing. All right. So the old way of doing things is, cheap and free emails, having more than one email address, not being able to access everything everywhere. Whoops, was too fast on that. None of your stuff is integrated properly. You're doing multiple things over and over and over again, right? Crazy. Saving everything on your computer, but not being able to access it everywhere. Having to drive back to your home or office for anything. Managing your contacts on a spreadsheet or in multiple different locations, crazy. Paying for lead gen when you could just be using a system to keep in touch with your actual clients, or paying for ads when you could generating referrals and repeat business from proper business system setup. So really, we want you to get your time back up to 10 or more hours a week. And we want, I'm going so fast here. And we want you to fill your funnel with repeat and referral business, right? Tens to hundreds of thousands to $250,000 to $500,000 more from proper business setup, depending on what your goals are, right? And the new way is really a proper domain website address, a correct business email on a correct business email server, correct use of cloud storage with the proper business email, right? And then, and then that CRM set up to integrate, right? One update, updates everywhere, right? This is the goal in the end. It doesn't matter what you're on, what device, where you are, you update once, it updates everywhere, right? Like it's gold. Okay. All right. So just to recap, and then we're going to talk about whatever you want. So start typing your questions. So we covered domains and emails and cloud storage and CRMs. And you guys, the real cost of doing nothing is the money you aren't going to make. I love this quote. This is one of my favorite quotes. I think this is Walt Disney. So if you don't know, we're going to replay this at streamlinedagents.com. That's my Facebook group. Ray will put the link in the chat, but we'll also follow up with you. So don't feel like you have to type all this up. And also here's the chance to book a 30-minute session with me, and I'll look at your systems and see if you're a good fit for a program. I'll make some suggestions on how you're set up. And so if you go to agenttechmastery.com/apply, you'll just go fill out info, you'll book a calendar appointment, you'll fill out some info. I'll ask you to fill out a short form so I can get to know your business better. So when we meet, I actually review everything before we meet, okay? And Janet is going to discuss, Janet's going to discuss about stuff. And what about social? Okay, we're going to talk to Janet in a minute. So that's good. Ray's going to put the apply in the chat. So agenttechmastery.com/apply. All right, let's get going over here. If it shows busy, it's because you guys are all doing it at the same time. Just select a new time. All right. And Janet, hold on. I want to see, because I actually had, hold on, where we are. Janet, let's talk stuff.
Yeah, let's talk. So something you said that you would, if you have to import the contacts via spreadsheet, you're not even going to consider it. So I'll ask one thing. If you're moving from one CRM to another CRM, is it true that that's the only way to get the contacts out of that CRM into the CRM? That's the only time that you would consider a spreadsheet?
Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. So it's a great question. Yes, absolutely. So if we're going from, so we can almost I've never seen a CRM where we can't export the data and import the data. The issue that I have is, so let's say the CRM vendor, whoever it is, says, yeah, let's do that. So they do that for you. Then once that's done, now it's separate. Where I come in is I say, no, no, no. Once that's done, now is it integrated properly? Do you have the proper business email configured on the right plan so that we can flip a switch and now they're talking to each other? So all those contacts are now in your attached to your business email and vice versa. Personal business, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah. Because I find different CRMs, so they have to pass the Darci test. That's number one.
I really, yeah.
But then different CRMs have different functionalities. Like they're not all the same. So I'd encourage you to go on and sign up for a free trial and look at the dashboards. Because if you're like, I'm a very visual learner. Some of these CRMs, their dashboards are so cluttered.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. Like it needs to be really obvious to me what I'm looking at. And I like to see the pipeline of what's happening.
Yeah.
So I would say once they've passed the Darci test, then go ahead and do the trial to look at them.
Yeah, I agree. So and again, what I see, and this is why I've created the 7-week program to run agents through, is because I can't tell you how many times I've talked to agents who've tried 5 different CRMs and they're all shit. Well, you know what? They're not all. You just don't understand the process and how they should work. And is it integrated properly? Because they can't all be bad. What I always say about software is that nothing is going to be 100%. Like this one might do this thing, and this one might do this thing, and this one might do this thing. And so what are your needs? Now, what I have learned is that most of the time, agents will never use all those bells and whistles, ever, right? Never. What I want agents to do is let's keep in touch with your darn clients. So I want it simple. This is where because I've looked at all the ones that are all complicated and it's like, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know how to search for my contacts, right? I don't know how to find my calendar. I want it simple. I want you to understand how to add a drip. And if you don't know what a drip campaign is, it's a sequential set of emails and tasks per type of client, okay? Every single real estate CRM has that. That's their kind of reason to be, right? So what they want, what we want is to be able to say, we have a prospective buyer. So I say the same things in this manner to every single prospective buyer, okay? And it might be a 3-month drip campaign. It might be 2 weeks. It just depends on how you want, but they give you this generic template that you can use to make it your own, okay? You never use any template, any newsletter, any drip campaign out of the box. Do you hear me? If you don't even ever use me or work with me or do not, I'm going to say this again, do not ever use anything out of the box. You must customize it to make it sound like you, because otherwise they do know it's automated. All right. Let me just see what's your, which one has passed the test, Darci's test.
Everybody wants to know.
Yeah, everybody wants to know, but you know what? I want you to set up an appointment because everybody's different and you might have used blah, blah CRM and I will go over with you. I don't like bashing any CRM publicly. So I will work with you. If you've said you've used this and you like this about this CRM, I'll tell you whether does it actually integrate, does it sync? It's very rare that there's a CRM that I haven't tested or heard of. That all the top ones. I think I've up to 20 now that I keep a running spreadsheet about those things that I talked about. How's the support? Because you know what? It might be an awesome CRM, but you're in the middle of trying to do something and they can't get back to you for 2 days. Nope, not good enough. Okay, never. Okay, how do we set up an appointment with you? Oh, I'm going to go back while we chat. Let me go back to here. agenttechmastery.com/apply is how you set up an appointment. And I'm happy to chat with you. And Janet and I are just going to keep talking about stuff. So coaching, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the benefits of real estate coaching. I know a lot of it is accountability because that's what I do for the tech side. You got to get your stuff done and we get it all done. And you have to be accountable, right? That's key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, accountability is a lot of it. You know what it is too? It's another set of eyes looking at your business from outside.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm a coach, but I have a coach because we do things every day, week, month. And yeah, we can do some analysis in terms of how we feel as, you know, what's working and what's not. But it's when you have that outside perspective,
Yeah.
looking at it saying, yes, absolutely, this is the right thing. Or, you know what, there's a better way to do it. Or you just need to do this little adjustment and you're going to get the same result with a lot less effort.
Yeah. 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 Same result with same result with a lot less effort. That's so true, right? Let me just see. I love a really great dashboard and something that's intuitive. I have not used exact. Hey, Des! I didn't even read who was typing that. Hi, Des. I have not loved Exact or RJ. Any Darci approved that aren't those. So yeah, again, it's specific. I have to look at people's setup. Is it done properly? There are so many. That is the problem in your industry, is that everyone wants your money, right? And so there are. I've only tested the top 20, let's say, CRMs. There's probably hundreds of them. And so again, with your Des, because I kind of know how you're set up, because I did help you a long time ago, you're set up properly. And so I do know that for the most part. And so for you, it would be the top question. Does it integrate with you tell them what business email you have? Does it integrate directly, not some third-party way? And then you'd see if the answer is yes, then I'd look at their dashboard like Janet said, okay? Other people who haven't got their stuff set up, this part's way more important than even looking at a CRM yet, because you're going to just get sidetracked and you're going to be one of those people that paying monthly because nothing's really integrated and working. You're going to be frustrated. So let's get your stuff first set up and then we look at the CRM. Okay, super important. Okay, let me just see who else is asking questions. What about social media integration? When I'm researching CRMs, what else should I look for other than integrate contacts? So social media integration is such a vague term. So I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying, is that some of them do have platforms where you can also do some blasts for things. In my opinion, and again, it's just my opinion, but in my opinion, the ones that I've seen that have some kind of some have social media integrations, which actually show your clients. If your clients use Facebook, let's say, with that email address that's in the contact, it'll give them like a number for interaction. Some actually will post. And I also sometimes think that if a CRM does too many things, then they do nothing well. Does that make sense? If they say, well, we'll do newsletters and we'll do social media and we'll do this kind of integration and we'll do this and this and this and this. And then it's like, really the goal is we want to keep in touch with our clients in an easy manner. And then all these other bells and whistles you may never ever use. You know what I mean? So I don't know, you have to define social media integration for me maybe. Let me see. So, do you have any other? Jump in, Janet.
Yeah, so the question was, I like the question from a little bit earlier is, what else should I look at other than integrate contacts? So again, I'll always go back to once it passes the Darci test, what I would do is think about the life cycle of your client, right? I meet a client, I have a conversation, we have a listing appointment, I sign the listing, I get a firm contract, I close the deal, I want to stay in touch. Yep. So think about that life cycle and think about how do I want to interact with my client that someone's tapping me on the shoulder that says, hey, don't forget. And I would literally take a piece of paper and write out like 12 things. What if the deal is closed and I want to let them know a week before the closing to remind them to put the remotes and the keys out?
Yes.
You know, what if it's 1 year after they've purchased and I want to wish them a happy birthday? Like literally write that list of like the 10 to 12 things you want.
Yeah. And then save it, then do a drip, do whatever it's called on the CRM, because they all call it different things, but you actually create for that person, that type of person, you create all that inside the CRM.
But what I would also do is let's say you've narrowed it down to the Darci approved CRMs. I would book a consult with that, like rather than just sitting and going through the training webinar from the CRM, have your list of questions, call them, and, okay, because I've done that just so I can get a working knowledge. And there's lots of CRMs out there that they say, oh, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to be able to eliminate some. Like some people want to be able to attach files. Not all CRMs do that. Some people care about that, some people don't. So
that's right.
Figure out what you need.
Yeah.
And then go for it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that's once it does the Darci approved, I agree. Then you call them. And then the other thing about when you call them is that you will be able to tell how fast is the support? Is it live chat? Do they email you back? Is it 2 days later? Is it really difficult to get a hold of them? If you like to talk on the phone, do they have phone support? Some don't have phone support. And that, I could care less, but I like live chat. Do they have live chat? But, everyone's different. So exactly, right? Let me just see, hold on. What is your idea of a top producer? Just went to your website to sign up and you seem to but your form seems to, unless you have 200 clients. My form should not say 200 clients. You just have to be a top producer or want to be one. All right. A top producer. So an agent who wants to get things done. I like working with agents who they know they're messed up in their systems. And so if you know that, and you know that you can use help, I don't want to waste my time or your time if you're wanting to talk for 30 minutes and you're not really interested in changing anything. It's not waste. It's wasting my time and yours. That's all I meant. Okay. On specialized email, can I send a newsletter embedded rather than an attachment? On specialized email. Oh, okay. I think you mean on a business email. Yeah. Can I send a newsletter embedded rather than attachment? Azim, I think you need to book a call. So book a call regardless of what I say, because I think we can help each other, because that question doesn't make sense to me. I think what you're asking, I don't know. So there's a difference between a newsletter service and an email blast from your email. Okay. And a newsletter service, you can have as many as your plan allows. You can send to 5,000 people if you want, because it's a spam-free newsletter service. I can't send an email to 5,000 people from my email, even though I have a business email. It's not allowed. Okay, it will not work. Does that make sense? I think that was your question, but I'm not sure. Okay.
Well, a question that I get asked a lot, and I'll let you answer, is, hey, I've got 1,000 people in my CRM, and I want to send them all my summer newsletter. Do I send it out through my CRM, but I get a lot of emails from other people from like MailChimp or ConvertKit? How do I send it out?
Yeah, I'd have to look at their business model, but I understand what you're saying. So some CRMs have a newsletter service inside them. And I'm going to tell you that I've never seen one I liked, just FYI, because it's all about real estate. So I'm going to preface this with, okay, let's say that I am a buyer and I just bought. And now you said, oh, Darci, I'm going to add her to my newsletter. Then the newsletter comes up through your CRM that says, here's our monthly newsletter. You add me, you don't adjust it, you don't do anything. I get it. And it's all about buying a house. Do I care? Might I unsubscribe? Might I never read it? Then next month, it's also about staging my home. I'm not selling. Why do I care? So I think if you're going to use the newsletter services that come with the CRM, you must qualify your people. You must know what the content's about. You must qualify your people. Or you can use a newsletter service like MailChimp or BombBomb's a video service. BombBomb is not a CRM, by the way. It is a video email service, newsletter. You can use those. That does not replace a CRM. That's in addition to a CRM. Did I answer your question?
Me? Did you answer my question?
Okay, yeah.
Well, sort of, because the question I get asked is like, do I send it out through Exact Contact or Top Producer or Follow Up Boss or Lion Desk or whatever it is? Or should I be sending it out through MailChimp? And do I have to, like, my 1,000 contacts, do I have to have them in MailChimp as well? So now I'm managing two databases.
Yeah. Okay. So a good CRM, what they do, and this might be again, it's probably better for me to talk to the people who and see what they're using, but a good CRM will do what we call a one-way integration. So let's just say this scenario. So I meet Janet. I think Janet, do you want to be on my newsletter? Yes. I add Janet to my contacts that are talking to my CRM, and I add her to my newsletter category, label category. And then I when I do my newsletter, and when I go to, just before I go to send it, I say, hey, anybody new to that category, put up to my BombBomb or my MailChimp or whatever I'm using, and I push a button and it sends it. So it updates the list one way.
Yeah. And then you're saying send it from
A proper newsletter.
list, send it from ConvertKit or Emma or MailChimp or one of those.
Yeah, because they are, you can unsubscribe. I can't unsubscribe if you send me an email. If it's not a true newsletter system, I cannot unsubscribe, and you're kind of going against the anti-spam laws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see other question. Will it be one-time setting up or ongoing service requests? Also just wonder what will be the consulting fee range. I guess you're talking about me. So first we just need to chat to see if you're even a good fit. And my, what I do is through my program is I help agents in a very easy way to fix all your problems. So one week you do something, another week you do something. There's some stuff that I have to fix. So we meet for a set amount of time. I look at all your devices and fix them all, migrate the stuff, export things, get it all onto the business email. We talk about cloud storage. We have weekly meetings to discuss any issues. We set up your CRM, we integrate it. We get you sending email blasts, allowable email blasts from the CRM, and we help you set up drip campaigns. So that is you'll always have access to that, okay? So that's an investment to work with me to get all your stuff set up, and you always have access to that. And then for anyone who graduates out of my program, we monthly meet, and if you have asked questions, so I never leave anyone in the dust. All right, hopefully that answered your questions. Let's see. I think is there any more questions, Janet? We're almost like perfect timing, 12:30. Janet, now I know Janet has a book. Can you talk about your book and how people can maybe get, because that's really cool.
Sure. Yeah. No, I recently just launched a journal called
What was that?
No Matter What Journal. And it's a 90-day planner, or 91 actually, because there's 91 days in a quarter. And the reason I created this was because I found agents, it's not specific to real estate, it's anybody who has a goal or anybody who said, can you imagine? I found what happened in working with people is they get all fired up about their goals, and then they'd write their plans, and then 3 weeks into it, they would totally forget about, what the original goal was, or they'd get squirrel syndrome, right? And they get distracted by something else. And the guys that reached their goals were the ones that it was really simple. They reminded themselves, they broke it down into a quarterly and weekly plan. And they literally just reminded themselves of, okay, what do I need to get done by the end of the week to meet my quarterly goals? Oh yeah, what were my quarterly goals? Oh yeah, what was the big picture vision?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it does. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram at No Matter What Journal, you'll see samples of people who are using it, give you tips on how to use it, and give you some inspiration.
Do you have a website too?
Yeah, it's everything is No Matter What Journal.
No Matter What .journal or
no matter what journal.com.
Okay, Ray, if you can put that in there, and we'll follow up with people, no matter what journal.com.
And cool. The reason for the title is everybody has things they need to do every day, no matter what, to get through their goals. And what I have to do and what you have to do are different, but we still have to do things every day, no matter what. So yeah.
You know what? I'm going to tell you. Okay, this is my own journal of what I'm doing every day. It's bullet journaling, it's keeping track of everything. Have I done this? Have I done that? And that's the only way you can keep track of that kind of stuff. Right?
100%.
So, yeah, so go 100%. Check that out for sure. Any other questions, you guys? Let's just see. Any other questions? Use us while we're here. I know we're almost done. We're actually out of time now, but if there's any other questions, please. Again, if you have a question later, please go and this is being live on Facebook Business. It'll be in my Facebook group as well. You can ask questions there later as well, and I'll answer. And Janet, you're on that too. You can answer, just tag Janet and she'll answer if you have coaching questions from her as well, okay? But the submit button, Shella, okay, so my assistant will get back to you, and let me just, yeah, I think it's Shella. My assistant will get back to you. I'm not sure why it wouldn't work unless you haven't, sometimes are you filling out the form? If you haven't completed all the things that you have to, it won't submit, okay, if that's where you're at. Otherwise, if he can't see it, or if we don't see you set up, Ray will contact you to work it out. Let's just see. Azim, great. Look forward to chat. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's all, but hold on. I think that's all the questions. Okay. Awesome. So Janet, thank you very much for your time. I think we should do some more like this, and maybe just you and I talking about, instead of a presentation, just about stuff. Maybe we'll do that just on Facebook and
absolutely.
Agents out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Janet. No matter what, journal.com.
You got it.
All right. Awesome. Thanks so much. See you guys. Okay. Thanks for joining us again. Oh, hold on.
Bye.
Oh, I know there's still people here. Just a sec. I forgot that we have another webinar. Don't forget to register on July 30th, 10 to 11. We'll send you the link to do that too, but it's not for another month. All right. We're going to talk about this exact same thing. I'm going to go over and over and over again. Like Janet said, sometimes you have to watch this 5 times to get it. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.